On to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Government-backed open network for digital commerce has set a target to achieve 1 lakh transactions per day, up from its current figure of 10,000 transactions per day. Speaking to me, Koshy, Managing Director and CEO of ONDC, said they are looking to branch out their business overseas and they expect Singapore and Middle East to use ONDC soon.
6 months since we have started triggering the making ourselves visible widely, we have seen significant amount of growth in the early segments that we came. We started with grocery and food, and then we added mobility into it. And in the last 6 months, we saw mobility going through the roof. For our kind of startup, which is just 6 months old, we are seeing something like 50 to 60,000 transactions rides a day, and closely followed by food and of course grocery. And then we are seeing the goods part of it, which is it has reached a peak of more than 30,000 a day and averaging about 15 to 25,000 every day. And it is sort of building up in a step-by-step building is happening. Merchants was in January, which was like something about 800 merchants, and now about 45,000 merchants on the good side, and like I said, in the right side, more than 60,000. So we are seeing momentum building up, and we are also saw the additional categories coming in, but they are too early. And we saw very interesting participation coming from, for example, a logistics player coming and say that I'm going to enable all my sellers with whom I have a relationship to be visible in the market network. So you're seeing innovation, and we are seeing specializations happening. And these things together to sort of drive the market significant in the coming few months.
Mr. Koshy, what has been your target? How many transactions do you expect to take place per day, maybe in the next 6 to 7 months, by the end of the year? What are some of the targets that you're working with?
By end of the year, what we are trying to do is something like 100,000 transactions a day, and which will sort of give us confidence, because it will build up the same momentum. See, one thing that is a transaction means one thing, more buyers have to be familiar, and the sellers have to get used to this digital etiquette. And as we said, in addition to the big guys who are already there from one side, HUL on the one side and PNG on the side, those kind of things, but we are giving significant focus as a demonstration to small and micro enterprise, like Kudumbashri, which is a SHG group from Kerala, or some Mandeshi Foundation or Azol Foundation for lady SHGs from Bombay. All of them are being given a lot of priority to demonstrate, and we are seeing build-up happening.
How many MSMEs do you have on the platform right now? How many would you like to have by the end of the year?
For example, I've not taken a fixed target on the MSME tech. The thing is, we are planning to see at least 30% of the merchants who are coming out should not have been ever digital. That's the way I'm putting myself a pressure on me. Because many MSMEs, like we said, they are digitally familiar, they're doing some kind of transaction. First time digital e-commerce transaction, 30% of should come from us is what we are trying to do.
Right. What is the daily monetary volume of transactions that are taking place?
To be very honest, I don't know. The reason is, as you would have said, we are a network, and we do not try to track, and each of the platforms have their own transactions, and we don't ask them the value of transaction. We only, as a measure of health, we only look at the diversity of transaction which we publish.
Right.
Because please remember, there's no central system where everything is coming. It is a truly democratic network and not a platform.
What is the biggest or most common complaint that you're getting right now? Which are some of the biggest teething troubles that you're trying to overcome?
See, the biggest teething trouble is, like I said, when you're trying to encourage small micro enterprises, their ability to respond with the speed and alacrity, as well as with the finesse for the expectations, because most of the early adopters on the buying side are more sophisticated buyers who have been anyway using something else. So they have very high benchmarks. So when you imagine a small entrepreneur who sort of has to reach that one, is one of the early challenges that we're seeing. So because of that, we need to have a continuous effort to educating them and improving their processes. And if you really ask us, we are really small, okay? So the number of complaints are practically very, very few. And most of it, the complaint is they're anxious because they're trying to do something. Hey, where's my order? You said it will, even if you say it will be available the next day, they'll call in the evening 2 times. So, but there have not been any very few delivery related issues. Of course they came. I'm not saying, if I say don't, I'll be lying. But the good thing is, all these cases, the merchants resolve those issues. There's not, till now, touch wood, we have no disputes. Of course we had people complaining and getting sorted out.
I would also like to ask you about what about international operations? What about international trade, connecting the buyers and sellers on ONDC in the domestic market to international markets? What is the plan?
See, the way that we are looking at currently the whole network protocol enable domestic transaction, and we are almost in the final stages of completing the necessary protocol for international transaction. So what we believe, and we will definitely be able to demonstrate proof of concept in the next few months by having international buyers buying from India. But in addition to that, then it's all question of demand build-up. So we are also, I'll just give you two examples of how we are trying to help the enterprise from here to be internationally visible. For example, you know Dun & Bradstreet, they said they're going to issue a Duns number to every seller. So let's say if you're a buyer, Mustafa from Singapore, trying to reach across and see a Durga silk, they might be first question, hey, I haven't heard. But if they see something like a credible, name there. Similarly, we are working with the Quality Council of India to give a, certification for the small enterprises. So essentially what we are trying to do is giving a confidence to a broad cross-section of buyers, whether starting within India and internationally, that they are dealing with respectable entities with a history and with somebody to endorse on. And that is the reason we are also working with Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, SIDBI and NABARD, etc., to act as an enabler of the small enterprises and endorse them. So we believe these kind of things will see demands coming in.
So which countries would you launch the pilot in the first phase?
So there's nothing called country. It is actually we'll do. They have to just buy. So once we say it is possible, the buying application is there, they will be able to. And I suspect one of the early adopters could be from people like Singapore or even Middle East, etc., where we have, our diaspora there. And if you know that Singapore has already adopted UPI, and I'm sure that they will find ways to, enterprises there will take advantage of reaching across to this network. There is no need to some special connection. We have to make sure that documentation, there are logistics players who will do international documentation as well as international supply. So all those will be available in the next few months, and we believe that this is where they will start figuring it out.
Right. Any major priorities that you would lay out for us from an ONDC perspective, something that you are working towards to scale up the acceptability and the penetration of the platform?
See, what we are trying to do is we are trying to get a broader cross-section of buying applications who already have a large digital customer base and work closely with them to stimulate demand. And secondly, work with some of the large enterprises, like, for example, even like Foodside, McDonald's, and those kind of people who see the benefit of being a part of this large network, also stimulating demand for their products, which anyway they're doing, and say that, hey, come to ONDC, that's a new channel, we want to support it, and we will give you better prices.
And moving on, the government's e-marketplace has grown